Hey guys, it's CatMix here, and we're back again with another video. In this video, I'll be talking about the red hive with Solo Scorch. And if you guys don't know what that means, it basically means you just have a passive with just Scorching Star, as you can see here on the screen. The best stats for this would be red pollen and instant conversion. Those would be the best. The ability rate would also help, because then you can get those red boost tokens faster to activate Scorching Star. Because the whole point really in Solo Scorch is to activate the Scorching Star as quickly as possible, so that you guys can have more capacity in the field more often. So right now I'll just be talking about like amulets and stuff that you guys will need. Shell amulets, I guess it doesn't really matter. If you don't do stump snail a lot, you're not really missing out on a whole bunch, just like goo and goo conversion, which I guess they kind of help, because the goo conversion will like not fill up your pack as fast as you're grinding. Then we have the stick bug amulets that you guys can get. I have a diamond stick bug amulet at the moment. The only like kind of trash stat on it is the buzz bomb pollen. I don't think I have any buzz bomb bees in my hive. I could be wrong. You'd want red pollen on this, and also red bee attack. Being a Solo Scorch, you're gonna want to save up to get, I guess if you don't have like all of the hive slots, that would be a good goal to save up for like maybe 49 or 50 bees. And I'm saving for the 49th slot in my, so I can put an extra bee in there, because my hive is getting kind of cramped right now with like all the spicy bees and whatnot. That's why I have red bee attack, is because I am going to be saving for amulets in the future after I maybe get this 49th or maybe even the 50th hive slot, depending on if Onnet actually updates the game and maybe makes a code that I can make a whole bunch of honey on, and then maybe I'll get the last slot, but we'll see. That's the diamond stick bug amulet. Yeah, red bee attack. You can also get like general bee attack on this, which would be also really good for saw if you're gonna get it in the future. Yeah, so now we'll talk about the supreme ant amulet, and basically what you need for this would be like something to do with like crits and stuff. So as you can see, I have critical chance and critical power on mine, but as well as that, I have 3% pollen, which is really good. I also have red pollen and white pollen. So this is actually like a really good amulet, because like look how high the red pollen is. Like it's 27%. I believe the max you can get is 30, but I could be wrong on that. I'm doing pretty good on my supreme ant amulet. You guys should always go in and try to get a better score. Try to beat your old score, so you have a higher chance of getting like one with like 30% pollen, which is really good. My score isn't the best, but I think I got like really lucky on this one. So if you guys don't get one as good as this, don't feel bad. Like all you really need is just like the red pollen basically, and then like some sort of critical. I've seen like move speed on this, on like one of these amulets. That's not very helpful for a red hive, because red hives don't really have to move around as much as the other colors, because white hives have to move around to pick up all the tokens from the gummy star, and blue hives have to move around to pop all the bubbles. Red hives basically just stand in flames and marks. That's how you make the most honey as a red hive. So next I'll be talking about like what kind of bees you'll need. So we'll start with the most obvious. You'll need a gifted basic bee, and the reason is because this 1×2 pollen is good for any hive, mixed hive, blue hive, white hive, red hive, any hive basically. If you don't have this bee, that should be your main priority, is to get this bee. Okay, so next is bomber bee. For Solo Scorch, you don't need this, because it will actually fill your pack way too quickly. Because I know some people on YouTube will recommend a bomb hive, but if you have saw, I guess that's not a problem, because saw will convert your pollen really quickly, so you don't really have to worry about your pack filling up as much. But yeah, you don't want that if you're just Solo Scorch. Brave Bee you don't need, because Star Saw was actually nerfed. So if you do have Star Saw and Scorching Star, you don't want this bee. It doesn't do much for you. Let's move on. Bumblebee and Coolbee, you don't need these bees because obviously you're a red hive. You don't need any blue bees because you won't be getting any blue bomb pollen, or you won't be getting really blue pollen. Unless you are grinding like BBM or something, then maybe, but I mean, it's not even bees mist, so what's even the point? Hasty bee, I have a gifted hasty bee, and the reason was because I was grinding sprouts for the gummy boots, which I have, so I will be getting rid of that soon. But red hives don't need to be like that fast, so I would get rid of this if you guys have it and you guys aren't like grinding sprouts or whatever. Yeah, just get rid of the hasty bee. Looker bee, you will need this because this is really important. 50% critical power. That is really good because you'll be getting more pollen, you'll be getting more attack from your bees if it crits. And yeah, it's just an overall good bee to have in your hive, like any hive basically. Critical hits are essential in every hive. So moving on, we have rad bee. This is a really important bee because it gives 10% red pollen, which is a really good bee to have because you want as much red pollen as possible basically, because red requires on it really depends on the multipliers. So red has a really high multiplier. I can get this red pollen here up to like 10,000%, which is insane. But yeah, that just goes to show how much red depends on the multipliers to make a lot of honey. So that's basically why red's so OP right now, is because it has so many things that boost it. We have the rascal bee. You don't need this because it is bomb pollen. Again, bomb pollen fills up your bag too quickly, and you don't want that if you're just running Solo Scorch. Okay, so next up we have the stubborn bee. Stubborn bee I don't have because I have only 48 hive slots. Yeah, if you do have as many bees as I do, or you have less, I wouldn't recommend a stubborn bee. I've heard the ability is actually bugged on it, so it doesn't work. And yeah, I don't have any problems picking these up because my music bees give tokens, which I'll get to in a second. Bumblebee and Bucklebee you don't need. Duh, you're not going to be getting any bubbles, so you don't need that pollen for them. Don't rely on bubbles for the pollen because they only give like 3 red per bubble. Like, that's just the base amount, but that's not a lot considering that it gives 10 blue and 5 white. Red is the least, so you don't want that. If you're a mixed hive and you're wanting to switch over to red, I wouldn't get rid of these bees because you want to be a mixed hive up until you complete like all of the spirit bear quests basically, because yeah, it's just gonna be way harder for you to complete all of the quests that you need to complete. And yeah, it's just not very good to have one color if you still have quests to do. The brown bear quests, like, there's no end to them, so you don't really have to base it on that. I guess you could grind it up to the mythic egg and then switch over, but yeah, I would recommend a mixed hive to begin with before switching to red. Next up, we have Commander Bee. You're gonna want one of these because, again, crit power and crit chance is essential to any hive. So you're gonna want that. Okay, Demo Bee you do not need. You don't want Exhaustive Bee either because you're not gonna be getting any buzz bombs. And yeah, so that's why I said on my stick bug amulet the bad stat is the buzz bomb pollen. You don't want this bee. Fire Bee, I kept Fire Bee because the 1.5x pollen from flames is actually really good. Because I have a lot of spicy bees, as you can see, which give an ability that summons flames. And also, this demon mask here does an ability called X Flame, and it spawns, I believe it's 30 flames on the field. It spawns 29. So yeah, you're definitely going to want one of these. Next up is Frosty Bee. You don't need that. Honey Bee, if you are running a Scorch Gummy, then you are going to want this because Gummy Star, basically, if you don't know, it basically gives you a percentage of how much goo you collected, and then it will scatter it in honey tokens after the Gummy Star pops. So this will multiply that by 50% because it's 1.5x honey from tokens, which you're gonna want if you have Gummy Star on your passive. I don't, so I'm not gonna keep this, and if you guys all have just Solo Scorch, you guys aren't gonna want to keep this either. Rage Bee. You're gonna want this if you have the Star Saw passive on it. If you're like me and you don't, you just have a Solo Scorch, you're not gonna want this. Riley Bee, I would say 4 to 5 of these is good. But if you have like more hive slots than I do, if you have like 49 or 50 hive slots, 5 to 7. Alright, Shocked Bee. You don't need this because it's just white pollen. And this would just be a waste of a hive slot basically. Next up is Baby Bee. You can keep this if you want. Like, I've heard in hives you want like at least 2 Baby Loves token bees, but if you don't have 2 gifted tadpoles, I guess you could get this. But I got rid of mine. I just have 1 tadpole. So Carpenter Bee, you're gonna want 4 to 5 of these in your hive. I have 5 of them because the honey mark is really good for a Solo Scorch hive because it just converts. Also, the pollen mark really helps as well because it's multipliers, right guys? And that's why red hives stand in marks all the time, is because they want the conversion and they also want the pollen multipliers as well. Moving on, we have Demon Bee. You do not need this. This is such a bomb based bee. You don't want one. I know it seems tempting once you get your first Demon Bee gifted. You're like, oh my gosh, it's such a good red bee. We should keep it. Let's go. But no, you don't want to keep it. Alright, Diamond Bee. I don't have one of these. I used to have one of these. I should have kept it because the convert rate. That's what you want in Solo Scorch Hive, because convert rate is actually really good. And it's what you want in a Solo Scorch hive because you want to convert as much as possible. Because if you don't have Saw basically does all the converting for like red hives with a Scorching Saw. They have Saw to convert all of their pollen, whereas Solo Scorch just has Scorching Star to convert their pollen. So when that is active, this will boost it basically. So if you do have a Scorching Saw, you don't need this bee, really. But if you're a Solo Scorch like me, you're going to need this. So I will get this bee soon. I'll probably replace my Hasty Bee with this one. So, Lion Bee. Lion Bee, I don't think this is really needed because it's 2 colorless bee attack. You are a red hive. You don't need that because, duh, you don't have any white bees except maybe the vector bees, and that's it. You don't really need this bee. If you have a Saw, maybe this will help out. I'm not sure because I don't have it, but I'd say no. Music Bee. This is like one of the most broken bees in the game. You're going to want 3 to 4 of these. I have 3 currently, which is a good amount I find for this setup here, because my hive is only 48 bees, so 3 of these would be fine. Yeah, so they give 3 essential tokens. Melody, they give for the 100% critical power for 30 seconds, which is really good. So you will be making 100% more pollen per critical hit. That is insane. It also gives Focus, which gives 3% critical chance for 20 seconds. It stacks up to 10 times. Critical hits increase pollen by 100%. And on top of that, if you have Melody, it increases it by another 100%. So you will be making basically 200% more pollen if you have a critical hit, which you really need. I believe this stacks up to 30%, this Focus here. I'll do some research, and if I'm wrong, I will put like text on the screen saying the actual amount. Next is the token link token that they have, which is really essential because you're not going to be running around a lot. As you can see, I picked up a whole bunch of tokens with that token link token. You're not going to want to chase tokens. I know it seems tempting because there might be like a pollen haze or whatever over there that you want to pick up, but trust me, if you're standing in flames, you're good to go, basically. You'll make the most standing in marks and flames, and music bees just get all the tokens for you, which is really nice. We're moving on to the ninja bee. I know the bee move speed seems a bit tempting for you guys, but I would not get this bee because you'll just be collecting up link tokens and just staying in one place, so your bee move speed won't really be that effective. Unless you're doing like attack related things, that would be really the only thing that would affect it for a red hive. Next we have Shy Bee. You're only gonna want one of these. I know a lot of videos on YouTube were like, you're gonna want like 7 of these because they're really good, but actually it's really good to just have one of them, just for that gifted bonus here. It has to be gifted. If it's not gifted, there's really no point in having it. So you'll get the red boost token, which is also a bonus for that. Red bomb you'll get, but yeah, see, it'll fill up your pack too quickly if you have like a lot of these guys instead of Riley Bees. Riley Bees only have the red boost, so you will only be getting red boosts for the Scorching Star passive. Alright, so next we'll move on to the Fuzzy Bee. I kept one of them, one Fuzzy Bee. I guess you can do 2 or 3, but I'd say 1 to 2 Fuzzy Bees would be good if you have kind of the same amount of bees as I do. He's right at the top there, my gifted Fuzzy Bee. I find it's enough. I get enough like fuzz bombs and pollen haze. If you're doing a boost, I would get like some friends with maybe like a bit more Fuzzy Bees to help you out. So next is the Spicy Bees. This is the most essential bee to this kind of hive setup. I'd say 11 to 15 Spicy Bees. If you guys are like building up to get a lot of Spicy Bees, what I did during like Beesmas, I put in Riley Bees instead of Spicy Bees for that Scorching Star passive, because those are basically the best bee that you want to replace a Spicy Bee until you can actually get a lot of them. So I had Riley Bees in before I had Spicy Bees. I know you guys are like, well, why don't you get a Fire Bee? Fire Bees are like the best. Well, you know what? They give red bomb pollen, which you do not want. That is not good for your bag, and also it does not give red boost, which won't activate your Scorching Star. So if we look at this bee right here, we can see that the gifted hive bonus is 25% flame duration, which you really want that. I can just stand these flames and they last 25% longer, which is huge. Also, it does Inferno, which summons a ring of 6 flames, and also on top of that, it summons 2 Fire Bees. I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, but Catmix, the Fire Bees, they do bombs. What are you doing? Well, yes, they do bombs, but Spicy Bees, like the main reason you want this is for these rings, basically. Yeah, that's why you don't want a bunch of other red bomb bees in your hive, is because you'll be getting a lot of red bombs from these temporary Fire Bees that get spawned in. And next token it gives is Rage. The only reason, if you are a Scorching Saw hive, the only reason you would need a Rage Bee is for the gifted bonus, the 1 bee attack. Alright, so next is the gifted ability, the Flame Fuel. This is a really good ability because it allows you to convert pollen while your flames are active. So for 15 seconds it tosses oil onto any flames that spawn, causing them to last 50% longer. 50% longer. That's why you're gonna want at least 5 of these gifted. I have 5 gifted right now. I'm hoping to get more. So if you guys are looking to be a red hive long term, I would try to get all of them gifted, all 15 or however many you have gifted. It also allows you to instantly convert 50k pollen plus 5% of your hive's total convert amount. That is also why you want a diamond. The next ability would be the passive steam engine. This bee's move speed and gather speed are dramatically increased by up to 100% with flame heat. So if you guys don't know what flame heat is, which you probably will because you guys will most likely be a red hive. If not, then it's whatever. You guys can watch this for future reference. But flame heat is basically when you stand in a flame and you get this buff here that lasts for 10 seconds when fully charged. And as you can see, it goes down. Instant red conversion, bee attack, and red pollen all go down as the timer approaches 0. So basically, the more flame heat you have, the faster your Spicy Bees will go. Also, the reason you want a lot of Spicy Bees is because this will give instant red conversion. So that's why you want a lot of red pollen multipliers, is because 15% of that will be converted. It's basically having 15% instant conversion, just like a temporary 15% instant conversion. That's why you want to stand in flames all the time. Also, if you have this festive mark here, it is really helpful because it gives 100% instant bomb conversion, which your fire bees, basically when they produce bombs, they will just instantly convert to honey, which is really nice. But the one thing is, like, that is kind of RNG based, so it won't summon like all the time. I'd say two or three times per boost, so I wouldn't completely rely on that and just overload with like a bunch of fire bees. Alright, next is tadpole bee. I would recommend 1 to 3 of these guys in your hive. We have one currently, probably should get another baby love producers. It gives summon frog, which is actually kind of important for a red hive because red hives tear up the fields a lot. Summon frog ability will basically, the frogs will hop around the field, they will summon bubbles for you, and those bubbles, when they pop, will replenish all the flowers within their area. Tadpole bees are really helpful to replenish that. That's why instead of a baby bee, I would go for a gifted tadpole bee. Instant bubble conversion is kind of helpful because then your bag won't fill up like as quickly, but it's a minuscule difference basically. You have vector bee. This one, I'd say you would want 3 to 5 of these, all gifted. They all have to be gifted. I only have 2 gifted at the moment, but I'm hoping to get more gifted. Cobalt bee, you actually do not need this bee because it's instant blue conversion, guys. You don't need that. Yeah, I forgot to talk about the moon amulet. So the moon amulet that I have right now is honey for pollen, but if you are Solo Scorch, you're gonna want instant conversion. Yeah, so instant conversion, I know the max amount is 5% from this moon amulet, so you're gonna want that. I'm gonna try to get one right now. Alright, so we got 4% instant conversion. Mainly you'll get white pollen on this one, but it doesn't really matter. The only stat that matters is the instant conversion. So yeah, that will be it. Next, I will be talking about how to boost with a Solo Scorch amulet. This is kind of tricky. So, before you donate, you're going to want to build Scorch, basically. So, you're going to want to go in a field where you don't like collect a lot from, so say like this sunflower field here, and you're going to want to build Scorch. You're going to want to build this up to like 20, because so you can build up like all your buffs and stuff before you do it. And then one thing I would do is only use your micro converters if you have Scorch active. So basically you want to have a full stack of micro converters before you boost. And you also want to have a full stack of field dice just for that pollen. So then you want to, right before your Scorching Star activates, you want to have somebody else. You're going to want to drop the jelly beans and they will pick it up. They will pick up the jelly beans for you and they will give you a jelly bean buff, which gives red pollen, which is really helpful. You'll also get the jelly bean buff as well. Alright, so yeah, you're going to want to drop the jelly beans right before Scorching Star. Which will help you make more pollen while your Scorching Star is active. Next, while you're boosting, you're also going to want to have at least, I'd say, 2 or 3 clouds in the field. If you have like a friend to help you out, that also be nice if he can drop clouds for you. But at the beginning, if you have winds, there will already be clouds in the field, so you won't have to spawn them until like 3 minutes later. Then you'll have to spawn like 2 or 3. Yeah, so definitely when you have Scorching Star active and there's no clouds, you're gonna want to pop a few of these cloud vials here. You're gonna also want 10 of these before you boost. Red hives should be prepared. Typically, if you boost, you're going to want to donate a purple potion, because purple potions give a lot of boost to red and blue fields, which is really good. You'll get pepper if you're lucky. You'll mostly probably get like a mushroom boost or a strawberry boost. Maybe a rose boost as well. It really depends on how lucky you are. You also need wins when you boost because you'll get conversion. you'll get conversion from the field, instant conversion, which is really what you want as a Solo Scorch hive. You'll want to pop glitter, you want to pop an oil, you want to pop enzymes, you want to pop a tropical drink. And if you are really crazy, you will pre-glitter before. If you have a good idea of like what field you want, you can pre-glitter it. So basically you just go in a field 15 minutes before you're going to donate, and then you glitter. Once you do your dice and whatever, you'll have a higher multiplier and you can glitter again. So that will instantly be a ×2 boost for you. Anyways, before you boost, you want to do the Mondo Chicken, which is very important because it gives 10% more pollen while you boost, which is really good, really helpful for you guys to boost. Also, another tip on how to get like these bees gifted, play during Beesmas, because you get these gingerbread bears here which have a 1% chance of gifting a bee. Also, you can feed them fruits, their favorite fruit. I'd feed them 1 just to confirm that they like it, because if they like it, it will A, give them more bond, and B, it will have a small chance of getting them gifted. I believe a mythic is a 1 in 25,000 chance of getting gifted, which sounds like a lot, but if you're basically playing for a long period of time, you'll build up your strawberries or whatever other fruits that you need, and you will have a chance of getting them gifted. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this made your setup a bit better. And for all those Solo Scorchers out there, I know it's hard. You'll get Saw eventually. Hopefully I get it eventually. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.